everyone! For a while on my channel, all I posted is lines and auditions. But today, all that is about to change. I'm going to be doing my very first Thoughts On video. And this video is going to be on Thomas Wood 2019. So Thomas Wood, originally when it was first launched in late 2017, looked something like this. And yeah, it was pretty bad. However, Mattel actually listened to the fans and gave them full paint. Now, some models look really good, but others are kind of meh. And some are pretty bad still. So this is going to be in 3 parts. So the first part, I'll be discussing the steam engines and the diesel engines. The second part, I'll be discussing the other rail vehicles, narrow gauge, rolling stock, and non-rail vehicles. Oh yeah, and the non-rail vehicles exclusive to sets and multi-packs. And then the final part, I'll be discussing the sets, buildings and destinations, and the multi-packs. So anyway, let's get started. So first up, we got the #1 hero himself, Thomas. Thomas looks okay. The only problem is that, of course, he doesn't have a dome, but also the black around his wheel arch. It makes him look pretty weird. But, and I get this is to cover up the exposed wood, but, yeah. And there's also the Day Out with Thomas engine and the Thomastown engine, but they're basically the same thing. Next up is Gordon. A big problem with Gordon was his length. He was way too short, looked way too bulky. Sorry about that. Anyway, Gordon still looks pretty stupid. Next up is James. Oh, James. James looks okay, but his face. That face. Alright, anyway, next up is Percy. Percy looks pretty solid. I gotta give it to him. He looks pretty good. So yeah, Percy looks pretty good. Next up is Harvey. Wow, Harvey looks really good. Now the original Wood Harvey was, it was alright, and so was the Learning Curve Harvey, but this one is definitely the true Harvey. I hope I can pick this one up, although my parents probably won't let me. Next up is Emily. Emily looks pretty stupid. Now, granted her shape, being, different is, okay, but her tender is pretty weird. Yeah. Next up is Spencer. Painted or not, Spencer is still bad. His face is stupid, his length is weird. Ugh. Next up is Rosie. Rosie looks really good. So her face is looking nice. Her paint job is much better. Yeah, Rosie looks pretty good. Next up is Hero. Hero looks alright. He looks pretty good. He has gray instead of black, but I can understand why, because he's black, and if he did black, it would look like it was part of the model. And I guess Mattel didn't want to do that. Next up is Caitlin. Again, painted or not, Caitlin is still bad. Because of the way she looks, she's lost her streamlining look, and it looks so stupid. Ugh. I mean, her tender's okay, though. Next up is Ashima. Ashima looks really good. Now the original Wooden Railway Ashima was and so was the 2018 one. Oh, sorry about that. Excuse me. Anyway, Ashima looks really good. Her face is pretty good. Her paint job is much better than before. So yeah, Ashima looks pretty solid. Next up is Yongbao. Yongbao looks pretty good. Now, his smoke box, some people complain why his smoke box is red, but if in the show, it's actually red, so it's actually accurate. The problem, though, is that he's missing the dragon. Although it is a plastic model, so sorry for the voice crack. It is a plastic model, so if they did that, you wouldn't really be able to see it. Next up is Merlin. Merlin looks pretty good. He has black smoke deflectors now. On the original 2018 version, he had silver smoke deflectors, and that looked really dumb. Next up is Nia. I am definitely hoping to pick up Nia because, of course, she wasn't released for Wooden Railway, and she actually looks really good. She looks a bit derp-eyed, but this is just a prototype, so, yeah. Next up is Rebecca. Oh boy, this is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but personally, I'm not a huge fan of Rebecca. I mean, no, as a character, she's pretty good, but I don't know what's up with her merchandise. It doesn't look the best. The only one that I can actually consider good is her Trackmaster model. This one just looks really weird. Her face is weird, her proportions are off, and her tender is so weird. This was just pretty underwhelming. So yeah, that's all the standard gauge engines. Now let's move on to the diesels. There's only 3 right now. So first up is Diesel. Holy crap. Diesel looks brilliant. He actually resembles the original Wooden Railway one, only with an added buffer beam, which is even better. So yeah, I'm definitely going to hope to pick up Diesel. Next up is Diesel 10. Diesel 10 looks meh. My biggest complaint with it was his length. It is really weird. And the last one for this part is Salty. I'm going to have to zoom in on this one. Salty looks really stupid. Oh, Salty. I think with a fully painted, it looks even weirder than before. But anyway, that's it for this part. So, tomorrow I'll be doing the non-rail vehicles and the narrow gauge engine and rolling stock and non-rail vehicles, and tomorrow and the next day and the final part I'll be doing the non-rail vehicles exclusive to multi-packs, sets, and multi-packs. Oh yeah, and buildings and destinations. So anyway, thank you for watching, and bye for now.